Hello everyone, good evening. How are you all? A very good evening to all of you. Welcome to the MCQ session, guys. Okay, so there is a information. There's a live webinar which Oliveboard is conducting here on 21st June at 4 p.m. Okay, at 4 p.m. 21st June. So here you can discuss your strategy from with AIR1. Okay, you will be also getting a 60-day study plan for your RBI Grade B examination, and the agenda is the following. Okay, so definitely there will be a Q&A session as well. So if you have any kind of doubt, you can definitely ask with the AIR1 as well. So it's going to be a interesting session for your preparation purpose. Okay. One more thing I would like to tell you that Oliveboard has launched a new course related to RBI Grade B 2025. This is a complete course, and the good part is it is with books. Okay, so you'll be physically getting the books of management, ESI, finance, and a lot of things are also there in this particular course. You can check the course highlight. If you do have any kind of doubt, you can definitely get in touch with our team. They will guide you. Okay. You can download our Oliveboard application, and there you'll be getting all the PDFs related to all the sessions. अब आ जाते हैं फटाफट से हमारे MCQ सेशन के ऊपर. Amid growing global interest in the sustainable finance, Indian regulators are strengthening their framework around responsible business practices to enable the transparency and investor awareness. A prominent Indian entity has recently launched a new rating framework aligned with the SEBI approval. So which type of rating were introduced by NSE Sustainability for listed companies? यार आज मेरा भी नेटवर्क जा सकता है क्योंकि यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा वेदर कुछ ज़्यादा ही खराब हो चुका है, राइट? सो मे बी बीच में कभी लैग आ जाए, कुछ हो जाए. चलो अच्छा है, कमेंट सेक्शन में पूरा ESG हो गया. ऑप्शन सी इज द करेक्ट चॉइस हियर, ESG रेटिंग्स. ओके, नेक्स्ट. In its recently policy decision, the RBI had made a changes. यार सिंपल सी बात है, रेपो रेट कट कितनी हुई है? अभी जो रिसेंट मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी चेंज हुआ था उसके अंदर रेपो रेट कितनी हो गई थी, कितनी कट होने के बाद व्हाट इज द न्यू रेपो रेट एज ऑफ नाउ? अ वेरी सिंपल, अ वेरी स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन. यस, 5.5%, राइट? व्हेन वी ऑल नो दैट. ओके मुकुंद, फाइन. Next is, following a calibrated shift in the liquidity management, the RBI has made notable changes to the cash reserve ratio. This changes is expected to influence multiple things. How much liquidity is expected to be infused due to the current CRR cut announced by the RBI? How much liquidity is going to be infused in the banking sector? 2.5 lakh crore is the correct answer, but can you guys tell me the month जब तक ये liquidity infuse हो जाएगी, month and year जब तक ये पूरी liquidity infuse हो जाएगी? So they haven't done a straight 100 basis point cut effective immediately. It's been done in tranches, right? I think in the news it was December, right? December 2025, right? It was 2025 December. Okay. The Monetary Policy Committee stance reflects its assessment of inflation and growth dynamics. Recently, the RBI has shifted the monetary policy stance as well, and they have adopted what stance? Quickly, everyone. Neutral, right? Neutral stance they have adopted. Okay. So there is some network issue here. Can you guys hear me as of now? Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. Just give me a minute, just give me a minute. I'm sorry for the disturbance. The weather is not apt today here. Just give me a minute. Okay guys, let's resume. Sorry for the disturbance. So the stance here is neutral. Okay, so they have adopted neutral stance as of now. They won't be cutting interest rate unless and until inflation interferes in it, right? With inflation easing in the recent months, the central bank has revised its inflation forecast. What is the revised CPI inflation outlook for 2026 as projected by the RBI? यार मुकुंद एक्चुअली क्या लाइट्स चली गई है और मैंने बिल्कुल फिर फ्लैश लाइट बिल्कुल मेरे फेस पे लगा रखी है, इसीलिए थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा ब्राइट आप लोगों को दिख रहा होगा ना, इतना गोरा मैं हूँ नहीं एक्चुअल में, ठीक है. सो अपोलोजाइज फॉर द विजुअल थिंग्स एंड ऑल, राइट. यस, द करेक्ट आंसर हियर इज 3.7%. ओके, 3.7%. द RBI गवर्नर्स 5 pillar segment is in 5/3/3 matrix highlighted in India's balance sheet strength. Which of the following correctly list the 5 sector identified having strong balance sheets? Yes, Mukund. Which of the following 5 sectors identified having strong balance sheet as per the 5/3/3 matrix? Yes, option B here is the correct choice. Okay, option B here is the correct choice. Acha, I have recently released a video on part 2 of annual report MCQs as well, so please do watch it. Okay, it was scheduled in 4 PM in the evening today, right? So please do watch it as well. So many questions that can be important for your examination purpose as well are included, right? Okay. So the correct answer here is B. Next is, what do you mean by the 3 Ds, which is again a part of 5/3/3 matrix? What do these 3 Ds stands for? अच्छा, do remember, अगर objective में नहीं आया, no problem at all, we will be using these matrix in the descriptive portion as well, right? The correct choice here is option A. 3 Ds are demographics, democracy, and demand. Okay. Next, what are the 3 types of stabilities referred to in the 5/3/3 matrix? What were the 3 kind of stability that RBI governor mentioned in the 5/3/3 matrix? E here is the correct choice. Okay, price, financial, political. Price, financial, political. ठीक है, E here is the correct choice. Next, One of the key indicator for assessing the liquidity condition in the banking system is the weighted average call rate. What does a sustained increase in the weighted average call rate typically indicate? What does a sustained increase in the weighted average call rate typically indicate? Yes, tightness of liquidity in the interbank market when the WACR will increase, when let's suppose HDFC Bank now they started transaction on the call rates. They started borrowing money on the call rates, and the call rates are increasing day by day. Why? Because they are unable to take the money from other facilities like repo rate, let's suppose, right? So that's why they are preferring a call rate as well. So that is in turn increasing the weighted average call rate. What do you mean by weighted average call rate? In सब की call rates का अगर मैं average कर लूँ, weighted average, that is nothing but the weighted average call rate, right? So if it's increasing, that means there is some kind of liquidity strain that the sector is going through, right? Next is board-based indices are being introduced to offer investor exposure across multiple sectors and companies. One of the newest offering in this space promises to cover almost entire listed market by market capitalization, which AMC has launched India's first index fund tracking BSE 1000 covering 94% of the listed market. Yes, Motilal Oswal Asset Management Company has launched a new fund, BSE 1000 index fund. This is covering 94% of the listed market companies, right? Okay, next is a strategic tie-up related to the green alternatives like bioenergy and biohydrogen. So which two organizations have collaborated to scale up the bioenergy and biohydrogen project in India? A is the correct choice here. IBA and IOCL. Okay, A is the correct choice here. Next, which e-commerce company in India became the first one to secure a NBFC license from RBI? Important for your examination. सर क्या बाकी के इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं थे क्या? वो ऐसे ही करवा दिए क्या? देखो यार, सारे में से ये ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है? वो भी आ सकते हैं डेफिनेटली, पर दिस वन इज having a high chance of coming up in the examination. Flipkart. Okay, Flipkart. Next is diversification in financial services remain a focus area for public sector banks. In a recent move, a major public sector bank ventured into the insurance segment as well. So they have acquired 25% stake in the Future General Life Insurance. Which bank has recently acquired that? Yes, Central Bank of India has acquired that and have made entry in the insurance segment as well here. So as the climate risk becomes central to the financial strategy, banks are beginning to integrate the environmental metrics into their core decision making as well. So a recent partnership has been announced. Which bank has partnered with the International Finance Corporation to integrate the climate risk into its core banking strategy? Important. Important. The correct choice here is AU Small Finance Bank. Okay, they have partnered with IFSCA. for a climate risk integrated banking framework. Next is the leadership transition in the public sector institution play a vital role in maintaining stability and the direction as well, right? So who has been appointed as the interim MD and CEO of LIC? Yes, perfect. Option E here. Okay, so what is the reported extreme poverty rate as per the World Bank for year 2023? So World Bank has recently released a new data. What was the extreme poverty rate here as per the World Bank? The correct choice here is 5.3. Okay, 5.3 is the correct choice. Perfect. Okay. So next is related to again sustainable finance instruments. They are gaining traction as of now, and we all know that in this particular week there were a lot of things related to ESG and green finance. SEBI has introduced a new circular, right, outlining the scope and applicability of the ESG labeled security. So as per the SEBI's latest circular, the ESG framework applies to issuer listing or proposing to list what kind of security? Equity, debt, preference, convertible debentures or sovereign bonds. Yes, it was a debt framework, है ना? So debt securities, option B here is the correct choice. ठीक है, option B here is the correct choice. Okay guys, next is multiple categories of ESG debt instruments have emerged in the capital market catering to the different sustainability objectives. A comprehensive regulatory definition has now been provided which instruments are included under the SEBI's ESG debt security classification. Which instruments are included under the SEBI's ESG debt security classification? Look, green bonds are also included here. Green bonds are also included here. However, if I talk about the circular, then that is not including the green bonds. Okay, that is not including the green bonds. It is only including social sustainability and sustainability linked bonds. Okay, so the next is SEBI's ESG framework is not just a regulatory exercise, it's also seeks industry input to remain pragmatic and inclusive. Feedback mechanism are embedded in the process as well. So feedback on the ESG framework was invited through which of the following platform or body? Feedback on the ESG framework was invited through which of the following platform or body? So I think on the second or third slide only we read about this particular platform or body in that circular. किसी को याद आ रहा हो तो? The correct choice here is option A, Industry Standard Forum. Okay, so Shubham here is correct. Okay, Industry Standard Forum. Okay, option A. Next is debt securities can be labeled as social sustainability linked bonds as per the circular only if the funds raised are used for the eligible projects, right, that are aligned with which of the following standard or principle? ICMA, climate bond standard, ASEAN standards, EU standards, any Indian financial sector regulatory framework. So here I have given you a mix of the options. Which of the following should be the correct one? Yes, Aditya. All. Right, we have read about all of the frameworks and principles here. So E is the correct choice here. Okay, E is the correct choice here. Next, there are various types of bonds used in the ESG finance depending on the nature of the projects and the purpose of the fund. So what is the correct term for the bond that uses both green as well as the social projects all together? A mixture of green and social, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? उसको बोलते हैं हम sustainability bond. Okay, sustainability bond is the combination of both green as well as the social. Social is just for the social causes, however sustainability bond is both for social as well as green causes, right? An ESG investing gains momentum. Some debt instruments are structured such that their terms are tied to the issuer's environmental or social performance goals. What are such ESG target driven debt instruments are called? Now if I link the debt instrument with the issuer's environmental or social performance goal, then definitely they will be sustainability linked bonds. Okay, sustainability linked bonds, they are those sustainable bonds that the issuer can also link with their environmental and social performance goal, and that's what we do in BRSR, right? Business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Next, in a move to enhance retail investors participation in the infrastructure assets, NHAI is evaluating the possibility of offering a new investment vehicle. Which investment trust model is NHAI considering for the retailers access? Public infrastructure SPAC, public INVIT, private INVIT, real estate investment trust fund, or NHAI term trust scheme? Public INVIT. Okay, public INVIT is the correct choice here. Next, so RBI has recently reduced the CRR by 100 basis points, so definitely it will infuse 2.5 lakh crore ka liquidity. What kind of liquidity do you guys think it is? Temporary, short-term capital injection, reversible liquidity, durable, or elastic banking reserve? So usually temporary liquidity को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Transient liquidity भी बोलते हैं, right? However, the CRR cut gives immense liquidity boost to the banking system, and it is a long term in nature, right? We don't adjust CRR frequently. So option D, durable liquidity it is. Durable liquidity. In accounting, financial statements are prepared with the assumption that the business will continue operating in the foreseeable future. So which accounting principle or concept we have discussed yesterday in the finance current affairs series, which tells us that the business will continue to operate for the foreseeable future, right? It will keep on going. Going concern. Okay, going concern. So do understand the meaning of going concern, that we will continue for the foreseeable future, and this is the reason that we bifurcate capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditure is the one that gets exhausted in the same financial year. Let's suppose I paid you guys the salary. You will work for me for 1 month. For next month, again, I need to pay you salary, right? However, capital expenditure, let's suppose if I buy a laptop or a new iPhone for my business, then that is a kind of capital expenditure. It will be definitely giving me benefits for the near future, not the near future, but for the longer term, right? So going concern is the reason that we bifurcate capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. अरे going concern assumption अगर नहीं होता तो फिर capital expenditure होता ही क्यों? कोई भी चीज 1 साल से ज्यादा की होती ही नहीं ना. मैं तो 6 महीने में बिजनेस बंद करने वाला हूं. I'll तो close my business in 6 months. तो फिर क्या कैपिटल क्या रेवेन्यू, में तो सब बेचने वाला हूं, राइट। सो व्हेन गोइंग कंसर्न अजम्पशन ब्रीच होता है, देन वी वैल्यू एवरीथिंग एट रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू, नेट रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू, ओके। जितना मिलने वाला है उतने पे हम उसको वैल्यू कर देते हैं, क्योंकि हम तो 3 महीने 6 महीने में बिजनेस ही बंद कर रहे हैं। तो फिर 1 साल 2 साल की क्या बात करें, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर की क्या ही बात करें, राइट। सो व्हेन वी वायलेट गोइंग कंसर्न, वी वैल्यू एवरीथिंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ, you can say fair market value or realizable value, okay. Consistency is nothing but we need to follow the methods consistently. Let's suppose for depreciation I have taken the method of WDV. So ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि पहले साल WDV लगा दो, दूसरे साल SLM लगा दो, स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, तीसरे साल फिर रिटर्न डाउन वैल्यू मेथड लगा दो, चौथे साल फिर SLM लगा दो। अरे मजाक थोड़ी चल रहा है। In every year we need to follow the same accounting practices and conventions, right? We can't change it frequently. If we change it frequently, then our results won't be comparable. पहले साल WDV लगाया, दूसरे साल SLM लगाया, मेरे प्रॉफिट्स ही कंपैरेबल नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि दोनों में डेप्रिसिएशन का बहुत बड़ा फर्क आएगा आने वाले टाइम में, ठीक है। प्रूडेंस, कैन यू गाइस टेल मी व्हाट प्रूडेंस इज ऑल अबाउट? कैन एनीवन टेल मी व्हाट इज प्रूडेंस? 1 या 2 लाइन में कोई बता सकता है व्हाट इज प्रूडेंस? आगे कुछ दिक्कत हो इसके लिए पहले से प्रोविजन बना लो, ठीक है। एंटिसिपेट लॉसेस बट नॉट प्रॉफिट्स, परफेक्ट। देखो समझना, ओके देखो समझना बात को। प्रूडेंस, प्रूडेंस मतलब इंटेलिजेंट बैक्ड विथ फोरसाइटेडनेस, ओके। सो लेट सपोज अ प्रूडेंट पर्सन, हम बोलते हैं ना यार ये बंदा बहुत समझदार है, ये बहुत प्रूडेंट है, या फिर बोलते हैं बहुत कंजर्वेटिव है, राइट। मतलब ही और शी ऑलवेज थिंक्स अबाउट लॉसेस, कि कहीं नुकसान ना हो जाए, राइट। लेट सपोज मेरा बिजनेस है, बैलेंस शीट बना रहा हूं, डेटर्स है मेरे पास 1 CR के डेटर्स है, दैट्स अ असेट। इनसे पैसे लेने हैं मुझे, आई नीड टू रिकवर द मनी फ्रॉम माई डेटर्स, 1 CR के डेटर्स है। नाउ इफ आई एम अ प्रूडेंट पर्सन, आई विल चेक whether I'll be able to fully recover my money or not. Maybe there are high chances that इसके अंदर से 10 लाख रुपीज नहीं आएंगे, there are high chances कि इसमें से 10 लाख रुपए नहीं आएंगे, right? So as a prudent person, what I can do here is I can create provision for that. I can create provision for that in advance, because I know that this 10 lakh rupee won't be coming in the near future, right? It's a complete bad debt, डूब गया मेरा पैसा। So why not to make provision in advance? Why? Because I can anticipate my loss. मुझे पता चल रहा है कि मुझे 1 साल बाद पैसे नहीं मिलने वाले। Why not to anticipate it? Right? 100 की स्पीड पे गाड़ी चला रहे हो, आगे बैरियर आ गया, क्या करोगे? दूर से देख के ब्रेक नहीं लगाओगे? क्यों लगाओगे? प्रूडेंट हो इसलिए लगाओगे, ठीक है, प्रूडेंट हो इसलिए लगाओगे। सो प्रूडेंस क्या बोलता है? Anticipate losses and expenses, anticipate future losses and expenses, but don't anticipate gains and income. अगले महीने सैलरी आएगी, अभी बुक कर लेता हूं। अरे नहीं भाई, अगले महीने आएगी, अगले महीने बुक करना। अगले महीने कोई खर्चा प्लान्ड है, अभी प्रोविजन बना लेता हूं, यस, ठीक है, यस, दैट यू कैन डू इट। सो समझाने के लिए, याद कराने के लिए मैं ऐसा बोलता हूं क्लासेस के अंदर, जो शॉक्स होते हैं उन सबको आज ही अकाउंट फॉर कर लो। शॉक्स का ध्यान रखो, सरप्राइजेस का ध्यान मत रखो। सरप्राइज मतलब फ्यूचर में कोई इनकम हो गया, इग्नोर इट, होगा तब देखा जाएगा। पर फ्यूचर में कोई शॉक लग सकता है, उससे बचने के लिए आज ही प्रोविजन क्रिएट कर लो, राइट। सो इसके 2 एग्जांपल्स हो सकते हैं। एक तो आप प्रोविजन क्रिएट करते हो डेटर्स पे फॉर बैड डेब्ट्स। एक और एग्जामिनेशन के अंदर इसका यूज होता है, अच्छा, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 2 जिनने पढ़ा है रिलेटेड टू इन्वेंट्रीज, तुमको आरबीआई में नहीं पढ़ना, राइट, नहीं पढ़ना। इन्वेंट्रीज का क्या मतलब होता है? स्टॉक। स्टॉक का क्या मतलब होता है? लेट सपोज आई एम दिस पेन मैन्युफैक्चरर, ये पेन बनाता हूं मैं, ठीक है, तो इसको कितने पे वैल्यू करूंगा मेरी बैलेंस शीट में? मेरी बैलेंस शीट में इसको कितने पे वैल्यू करूंगा? कॉस्ट और एनआरवी, विच एवर इज लोअर। समझना बात को, बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट है। कैसे वैल्यू करूंगा मैं अपने पेन को जो कि मेरा स्टॉक है? कॉस्ट, सर 10 रुपए लगाए बनाने में, सर नेट रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू ही 8 रुपए आ रही है, मार्केट में बेचने निकलूंगा तो 8 रुपए आ रही है, बैलेंस शीट में क्या बताऊं, 10 रुपए या 8 रुपए? ऑब्वियसली 8 रुपए। अरे जो चीज की वैल्यू ही 8 रुपए आ रही है बाजार में, उसको 10 रुपए पे क्यों दिखाऊंगा बैलेंस शीट में? मैं मेरे एसेट्स क्यों ओवरस्टेट करूंगा, राइट? आई वॉन्ट बी ओवरस्टेटिंग माई एसेट्स, सही है ना? ये सब क्या होता है? प्रूडेंस की वजह से होता है। क्यों? क्योंकि जो बैलेंस शीट बना रहा है ही इज प्रूडेंट, समझदार है, तभी विच एवर इज लोअर पे जा रहा है, कॉस्ट और एनआरवी, ठीक है, विच एवर इज लोअर। अगला आता है अक्रूवल। अक्रूवल बोलता है ट्रांजेक्शंस आर रिकॉर्डेड इन द पीरियड इन विच दे टेक्स प्लेस, नॉट व्हेन सेटलमेंट इन मनी टेक्स प्लेस। समझना बात को। दो लोग हैं, अतिथि और चेतन, ठीक है। अतिथि एक पेन मैन्युफैक्चरर है, उन्होंने 1000 पेन सेल कर दिए चेतन को, ठीक है। चेतन ने बोला आई विल पे यू द मनी आफ्टर 1 मंथ, आई विल पे यू द मनी आफ्टर 1 मंथ, ठीक है। 1000 पेन है 10,000 रुपीज के, सो चेतन ने बोला 10,000 रुपए अगले महीने दे दूंगा, ओके। अतिथि कब सेल रिकॉग्नाइज करेंगे? आज की आज या फिर 1 महीने बाद जब पैसा आ जाएगा? व्हेन ही विल बी रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द सेल्स, राइट नाउ और आफ्टर 1 मंथ व्हेन ही विल बी रिकवरिंग द मनी फ्रॉम चेतन? व्हाट डू यू थिंक गाइस? right now. Why? Accrual concept. Transactions are recorded in the period in which they takes place. अरे ट्रांजेक्शन हो गया, नॉट व्हेन सेटलमेंट इन मनी टेक्स प्लेस। अरे पैसा 1 महीने बाद आ रहा, कोई बात नहीं, 1 साल बाद आए भली, डजंट मैटर। अतिथि की बुक्स में चेतन कौन हो गए? डेटर हो गए, सेल हो गई, रिकॉर्ड कर लो। ट्रांजेक्शंस आर रिकॉर्डेड इन द पीरियड इन विच दे टेक्स प्लेस, नॉट व्हेन सेटलमेंट इन मनी टेक्स प्लेस. That's what accrual is all about, right? So here the answer will be going concern. Agla question. According to the latest World Bank report, what is India's revised GDP growth projection for financial year 2026? What is the revised GDP growth projection for financial year 2026? Option D, 6.3%. Okay, 6.3% here is the correct choice. Okay. Next, the insurance sector growth has slowed down recently due to changes in the regulatory reporting practices introduced by the IRDAI. What is the primary reason for such a kind of slowdown? Earlier it was 12-14%. Nowadays it is just 6.5%, right? What's the core reason of this kind of slowdown in the insurance sector? B here is the correct choice. IRDAI has introduced a new reporting rule. As per the reporting rule, you need to allocate your premium as per 1/n. Okay, that's why there are so many changes in the data. Okay, B here is the correct choice. Next, which bank has become the first foreign corporate issuer of green bonds at GIFT IFSC? Which bank has become the first foreign corporate issuer of green bonds at GIFT IFSC? Important. Yes. Option A. Okay, option A. Which state and company have signed an MOU to establish a university? This is not a normal university. This is the first AI university of the country. This is the first AI university, artificial intelligence university in our country. The correct answer here is, guys, option E. Andhra Pradesh and NVIDIA. ठीक है? E is the correct choice here. Next. In a bid to increase the access to credit for low ticket borrowers, the RBI revised the loan to value ratio on the gold loans. What is the permissible limit for LTV for gold loan up to 2.5 lakh rupee as per the revised guidelines? 85%, है ना? 85% is the correct choice here. Next is microfinance institutions are operating under specific norms set by RBI. Recently, RBI has made a major changes to help the MFI serve a wider borrower base. What is the revised minimum qualifying asset criteria for NBFC MFI to be classified? So they have reduced the percentage here, and the new percentage here is 60%. Earlier it was 75%. They have reduced it to 60% here, right? Okay. For higher ticket sized loan backed by the government by the gold collateral, the RBI continues to impose a strict lending norm here. What is the maximum LTV allowed for the gold loans exceeding 5 lakh rupee? Let's suppose the gold loan is exceeding 5 lakh rupee. Then what will be the LTV here? The LTV here will be 75%. Okay, 75% is the correct choice here. Next, India's economic resilience is increasingly being supported by a combination of macro and consumption driven factor. Which of the following was not identified as the four major driver powering the India's current economic momentum? So we have learned about the four major drivers that are powering the India's current economic momentum. Which of the following is not at all one of the four elements? Option B, stable crude oil prices, is not at all the big fours, right? That were the major drivers powering the India's current economic momentum. Option B. Okay. ठीक है. उसके बाद, you all know that there were KYC norm related relaxations, right? That are allowed to the regulated entity if there is a customer who is low risk customer, right? Then till what date can the customer continue the transactions without mandatory KYC updation? The correct choice here is option C. Okay, option C here is the correct choice here. Okay guys, so thank you so much. That's all from my end for today. We'll keep it short only because current affairs भी बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं थे इस week में, right? Majorly we have covered one question from all the current affair. Okay, so thank you so much. Wish you a very happy weekend, right? बहुत सारा revision करना, मिलते हैं अगले week में बहुत सारे lectures के साथ में. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.